Rich afternoon to all my emperors and empresses of planet Kai. So good to see you today. Um, I wanted to come on here today because recently Spirit says that I've ascended to a new level and that it was time for me to know more about my past so that I can help my family heal and help myself heal first. I've been in the process, for a very long time, but I'm a dreamer and a dream interpreter. In addition to what some may call a high priest or high priestess, to me, I'm just doing what my higher self and universal life force source wants me to do for humanity because you got to pick a side. It's either good or bad. And you have to be balanced. Sometimes you have to get a little bit bad to make good things happen. All right? Um, I had a dream that my father was attempting to have sex with me and my sister. In the dream, I was crying, like trying to fight him off or whatever. And this is a fast forward edition. As I was trying to fight him off, saying, "No, Dad, why are you doing this?" or whatever have you, he turned into a controlled dog. And then all the legs and arms fell off along with the head and shit at the same time, and it turned into a toy by the end of the dream. You feel what I'm saying? I didn't say nothing about the dream for months because I was molested by my grandpa from when I was a baby. Like, still in my pampers, like touching me or licking on me until I was about 10 years old when my mom showed me what a good touch, bad touch video was. Because I was peeing myself after being potty trained as soon as I started to walk. And I was reading like at 9 months old. I was in a newspaper in Camden, New Jersey. So that's also true. A very smart child. But when it came to me saying that I was molested, once I seen that good touch, bad touch video, I was all of a sudden not a genius and didn't know what I was talking about. And my mom provoked me to say things just because she had a past of having mental issues. But out of the mouth of babes comes truth. And the judicial system knew that because they seemingly didn't charge the person but put me through counseling services and everything and rape kit and all that as if they knew it did happen, but they just couldn't charge the Army veteran and the military family, if you get what I'm saying. But I was born in '86. So I'm here to break chains. You feel what I'm saying? Chains, I mean. I'm sorry. My grills. I've always given my parents advice, but since I was a child, you know, they didn't want to listen to it. And a part of my generational curse is to listen to my children. Because out of the mouth of babes comes truth. And I already had my warning from God. And I'll give you that story real quick since it's 3:33 on the clock and I got a few minutes. My son knew about GameStop before that skyrocket happened, and seemingly I had money to invest, but I was just worried about the regular coins. Lie to you not. He asked me about it for 2 weeks straight, and I kind of put out his investing fever, but I'm going to surprise him and give him money to invest on his own that he can keep sooner than later. And he's pretty damn good at it because if I would have invested the money that he told me to invest, I wouldn't have any worries right now. Let's just put it that way. So, from that one lesson, and from a few other small things, I listen to my children. And from now on, when it comes to relationships, and that's not my major concern at all, I'm just giving you advice. Listen to your children because they feel energy and they're still pure and innocent, especially if they are in those pure and innocent ages and stages in life. And you should listen to them because they have a strong gift of discernment. They don't even know it, and you don't even know it. So we all are right and wrong at times. So just pay attention more to your children. They are really and truly gems. See what my son did for me? He dropped gems on me. You feel what I'm saying? And I did not listen, but I won't do that again. Especially when it comes to their feelings. because it's magical and it's powerful. So when it comes to somebody in your relationship, I had to learn if they tell you that they're not comfortable or whatever have you, it don't have to just mean sex. Oh, if you're not being touched, then get out of here. You know, no. And this is not a Newport, so I smoke less. I'm on my way to stop smoking. I know I give y'all speeches all the time, but I'm going to create my own natural herbal cigarettes and then get them out to you guys sooner than later. So I like to smoke like La Madonna, who is aka a Zuli dancer. But anyway, let's keep going. So I told my parents about not selling 2 houses that they had for tax money because they could just fix it up and, you know, rent it out for an easy flip and get the money that they owed back, double that within a year, because it was right next to the hospital and the neighborhood was up and coming. Like I saw it in a dream or something. I had a feeling intuitively, like, and it was just 5:55 on the clock. I'm like, Mom and Dad, don't sell it for what you owe on taxes, because that lady's going to make that money back as soon as she gets the houses. So she gave them the tax money. They didn't make any money off of these double houses that were next to each other. You could walk to the hospital and doctors would just rent it out on a month to month. You get what I'm saying? Like on some Airbnb shit before it was the Airbnb, if have you. And then you could double the rent because it's right next to the hospital. You get me? Even the hospital will probably rent it from you. So, right now to this day, that lady that made her money within 6 months, hurried up, swooped down, and fixed up them houses and got her money, like I said. So that's just one example, but there were many more. When it came to my brother getting charged for something that he supposedly didn't do, I'm like, if you didn't do something, don't ever take a plea. Because later on in life, if something does happen, they're going to look at it and say, yes, you pled guilty to this, even though in your mind you know you didn't do it, but you signed and said that you did do it. So they don't tell you that you're undercover throwing your life away. It's never worth saying that you did something you didn't do, because they'll use that against you and get you again and again and again. And then you turn bad because you know you're innocent, and it's like you can't get out of it if you're not mentally strong to see what the game is. So, shit like that ruined his life. Something happened to him in jail, I believe, allegedly, but it ruined his life, and I told them not to do that too. So sometimes kids are there as guides, children. I'm not even going to call them kids, are there to guide you. That's why they're a gift. They're a huge help to you. They give you a reason to keep pushing every day. So you should always listen to your children and cherish your children and try not to ruin your children. So anyway, back to the molestation story. By the way, I've forgiven him. He's passed on, but back to that story. So my grandpa used to molest me from the ages of 2 to 10 until the good touch, bad touch thing that my mom told me about. And he used to like eat my pussy or whatever have you. And we had steps that went downstairs near the front door in the house. So when you came in through the front door, you could see the steps that lead to the upstairs. And there was the living room, and there was the dining room on the right and the living room on the left with the couches. My sister and brother would be asleep on the couch at times, one on one couch, one on the other, where they could possibly wake up. And he got off on eating me out on the step. And in my young mind, since we went to church and shit, I used to pray hard as hell. Like, God, please don't let them wake up. Please don't let them wake up. Because he would have got off on that. And it was my biggest fear that they would start to be touched by him. You understand what I'm saying? Since he used to give me candy and money, him and my grandma used to bake us cookies and shit and bake cakes for the church. It'd be the people that's high level in the community. That's why they didn't charge him for it, but still gave me the treatment as if he did get charged for it once I did tell. Um, yeah, so he used to do shit like that, or stand me up in the kitchen on a wooden chair that was in the kitchen that was near the back door and make me stand up while he ate my coochie. And I used to be by the phone, and the only telephone number that I knew besides 911 was my godmom's number, believe it or not, before my parents, and that was right before cell phones. I used to be like, can I make a call? Because in my mind I wanted to tell, and he's like, no, no. And he made me feel like he was my boyfriend or whatever have you. Gave me like special treatment, which is called grooming. I later on found out, just because he had a passion for me, young pussy that he was planning to take. And he finally took it around age 10. But I'm not going to lie to you. When you have an orgasm, that's a strange feeling, but it feels good, even to a child. You just don't know what it is as a child if you don't know about sex yet. And adults do know what it is. So after a while, 10 on the clock, I did start to like it. I wanted it. If he wasn't around, you feel what I'm saying? I used to touch myself. All right. And it got worse in the middle from between 2 and 10 because my grandpa used to beat me and my sister and brother with a slipper because we'll be humping on each other, or my cousins, I would try to hump on them. And I'm not even going to lie to you. I tried to hump on my dad. He used to be like, "What are you doing?" Laughing. Like when I was between him and my mom. Like it was something regular and I didn't understand where it was coming from, but I get a twinge between my legs if I was near them. And I didn't understand it. So I like try to rub myself on my dad's leg or something or whatever. Even on my own hand. It was crazy. It was a demon. You feel what I'm saying? I later on found out that they put on to me through molestation. So he would just brush it off or whatever. But that was a real problem. That's not something that you're supposed to laugh at. So I liked sex. All right? And when I finally did tell, it was because my mom knew something was up, especially since I started going through puberty like a mother knows. She knew a lot more than what I'm telling you now. I'll tell you in another story, but a mother fucking knows and feels her child. So she kept asking me, like, was anything happening? You know what I mean? She began to ask me, especially after I started, like, peeing myself at 5, but I've been potty trained. That's not normal to regress. You feel what I'm saying? That was also a part of that feeling I used to get. You feel me? So, like, at the end of the day, it was, like, so strong, that nut feeling I didn't understand, that I guess when I used to think about it, I pee myself. You see? Wanting that shit. Um, where she showed me a good touch, bad touch video in the library because I kept lying to her. Because, like, as a child, especially if you see your mom and dad fight before, how your mom reacts to certain situations, it's very important not to overreact in front of your kids because they'll think about protecting you from your own reaction before getting themselves some protection. All right? So that's the reason why I lied to my mom, because I foresaw actually like all the fights that eventually happened when I did tell. I seen the family being ripped apart. It was prophecy because I dreamt about it. I dreamt about a war in the family, like shit coming out the sky and everything, and I'm hiding behind a dumpster. Like at the age of 4 years old, I used to have dreams like that. I used to be over top of my body before I went back in my body when I was younger. I'm remembering the magic. I remember jumping from the top step to the bottom step and like being guided downstairs so I wouldn't fuck myself up. So I kept doing it and I kept being guided down the stairs, not dashing my foot against the stone. Um, I remember all those things, but my grandma was sick during those years and she almost died between those times. But it was like she knew, but it was nothing she could do about it because dad was her caregiver and protector as far as my grandfather. So I believe in some way she enabled it because she didn't say anything. And she would give me the cookies and give me the money and shit like that. Like I thought it was love, but it was hush hush. And to this day, she's still my favorite grandma. She made cakes that was in the shape of the church. She made wine and liquor. She was very talented, like on some kitchen witchy type shit. But now, since my grandpa was in the military and what type of person she was, they on some Eastern Stars Masonic type of shit. You feel what I'm saying? And that's what I found out today. But anyway, I be all over the place. I started scrubbing myself down like really hard and staying in the shower for like 2 hours at a time, and they had to check on me to see if I was okay. Like after I saw that good touch, bad touch video in the library, yo, I thought I was the dirtiest person in the world. I even cut on myself, and I never told nobody this but y'all until this day, and maybe my sister, just to feel the pain. And I never wanted him to touch me again. Like I became a fighter after that and started whooping on his ass because I'm like, no. Like, I felt like Adam and Eve after they bit the apple. It's approaching 15 minutes. I'm going to come back and let this upload real quick. But, that demon of molestation turns you into a Jezebel automatically. It makes you into a promiscuous person. One moment. I love y'all. I'm going to come back.